taken this bill to the House.
I call the Honourable Andrew Little.
Tēnā koe, Madam Speaker, and tēnā koutou katoa to those of you in the gallery who are visiting here from Taranaki and from New Plymouth. Madam Speaker, can I begin by acknowledging the member who's just resumed a seat, Jonathan Young, for not only his contribution today, but actually for picking up this legislation on behalf of the New Plymouth District Council and shepherding it through, but doing so over many years in what I think has been an incredibly sensitive and sensible way. Mr Young has, in his engagements with myself and my colleagues on this side of the House, has been very clear that this is and has been a difficult issue. The history has been fraught, and we all agreed that this was not about ramming something down people's throats, but about treating very carefully and understanding the sensitivities and taking people with us. So I want to particularly acknowledge the work of Jonathan Young in that, and I know he's been well supported by the Honourable Chris Finlayson, whose contribution to the world of Māori-Crown relations has been extraordinary and will be a great legacy when he leaves this House. Can I also acknowledge my colleague Adrian Urarafi, also MP for that area and MP for Te Hauhauru, and the work that Adrian Urarafi has done in working with local parties in that area. Also my colleague, the Honourable Nanaia Mahuta, who has brought her incredible skills of dealing with difficult situations and bringing people together and forging solutions. She is totally remarkable in that respect and unmatched in my observation and experience for people dealing with difficult situations. Can I acknowledge His Worship the Mayor Neil Holdham, who is here, the former Mayor Andrew Judd, the Regional Council Chief Executive Basil Chamberlain. I know there are other councillors here. Can I acknowledge the people of Te Atiawa, and can I acknowledge the people of the Hapu of Manukorihi and Otawa. This, as Jonathan Young has said, has been a difficult journey in recent years as we have striven to come to terms with a history that I think on the Pākehā, in the Pākehā world, we feel considerable regret for and probably wished had never happened. But it did happen. The land confiscations in the 1860s did happen. And in Taranaki it was brutal and it was harsh and it left a people dispossessed for generation after generation after generation. And much work in recent decades has gone to reconcile, to understand the history, and most importantly through the treaty settlement process to come to terms and to provide redress. But the issue of what happened at Waitara was never truly settled. And members in the House and members in all parties of the House have acknowledged that and understood that. The local district council has been grappling with the issue of what to do with the lands that it owns in Waitara, knowing that in order to heal the wounds of the past, it had to come to a solution on the issue of the leasehold land at Waitara and the other lands around Waitara. So this bill seeks to do that. It is not perfect, and there will never be a perfect solution, I suspect, as we strive 160, 165 years after the events to come to terms and to try to provide fairness as a consequence. More recently, in the people of Te Atiawa, as it has come to terms and sought agreement over its treaty settlement, this issue has been left to be dealt with separately, and that has been the origins of this bill, this local government bill. It does a number of things, and it provides for the use of funds that come out of either the leases that will continue or the sale of the lands, for those funds to be used in ways that will benefit Waitara and the people of Waitara, whoever they may be. But there is the issue of the interests of the leaseholders as well. And this afternoon, who relate in the piece. A petition has been presented by Grant Nucky on behalf of several hundred others. Their request was to slow the process down and to delay the third reading of this bill. But I think we all realise that a lot of work and a lot of effort has gone into this. It has been difficult for some of the leaseholders over the last 20 years as they've litigated their position, as they've sought to find a result for them that is fair as well. But the passage of time means that opportunities that might have been taken some years ago are no longer available. And I think this bill has allowed us to arrive at a position and a place that, in the end, is the fairest, even if it is not perfect. And so those who are leaseholders will have the opportunity to buy out their leases and to take the freehold title of the properties that they have. There are some, if we are brutally honest with ourselves, who have been opportunistic over the last several years. There are some who have gone to take up multiple leases and who have urged a result that would give them a windfall gain. Well, you take your chance in these things, but if it don't work out, it don't work out. And for some, that has not worked out. There are others who have been long-standing occupiers of their leasehold property, but who are at a time in their life where it'll be difficult for them to summon the means and the funds to buy out their lease and purchase the freehold. And that is unfortunate. They won't be able to take up the opportunity that is provided for in the bill, that over the next 15 months they can purchase the land at the frozen rate that is provided for in the bill. That is one of the reasons why the bill is not perfect, but it could not be perfect. And the challenge for Jonathan Young and the respective mayors of the New Plymouth District Council, the other MPs who have been involved, those who have been talking and in kōrero with the various interested parties, there were so many interests over such a long period of time that it is not possible to produce, has not been possible to produce the perfect result for everyone. But there is now a result. And I would hope that what has been achieved here, with all of those who get a chance to utilise the provisions of the bill, that it will allow everybody, if not tomorrow, but in the years or in the months and years ahead, to start to turn their gaze towards the horizon and towards the future, and to think about what the future of Waitara might now hold. And a Waitara where people are settled, people can take the opportunities that are presented to them, resources can go into those things, the cleaning up of the river, that mighty river that flows from the hills of the Maunga out to the Tasman Sea, and that we will see a Waitara, a township that is revitalised, re-energised, a town that can find peace amongst its people and be at peace with itself. If this bill helps us take an important step in that direction, then the bill will have served its purpose. So I conclude simply by acknowledging the mahi that has gone into it, the work that has gone into it, the extraordinary emotional investment that has gone into it from all parties, from the iwi, from the hapu, from all the people of Waitara. Let's now see this as an opportunity to put to bed the unrest, the unease that has been sitting there for generations, and let us turn now to the future and strive to fulfil the hopes of the next generation and those who follow, to make this a place, a town of prosperity, of hope, and of great good fortune to all who live there. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Madam Speaker.
I call the Honourable Christopher Finlayson.
Madam Speaker.